This effect will work no matter if you're a complete newbie, it's going to change your life. In this video, I'll show you how to use the effect manually and with filters. So let's jump right in. I'm 100% sure that you saw this effect before. It's called chromatic aberration. It's pretty much everywhere these days, and it looks really cool. So I'll show you how to do this. Step one is to have an illustration ready to put the effect on it. For this example, I'm going to use this black and white photo study that I did last week, but you can use colored illustration as well. No matter if it's grayscale or colored, it doesn't matter. As long as you're happy with the illustration that you want to start with, then you're good to go. Step two is to have the right colors. Now, the chromatic aberration effect uses 6 colors. I actually have them on my computer right here. It is cyan, red, green, magenta, blue, and yellow. Now, you don't need to use all of those colors on your illustration at all time. Usually 2 is like the minimum. You can use up to 4, and I'll show you how to use them, but basically these are the colors that you want to start with. So if you don't know these colors, what you can do is take a screenshot of your screen right now as I'm showing the colors, and we'll start with that. All right, step 3, well, it's to paint the colors. So let me show you how I do that. First, let me show you a little bit how it actually works, a little bit of a science behind this hat. So this is an actual picture of me that I added the effect afterwards, just to show you how it works. Picture itself, you can see that there's a rim of blue on the right and a little bit of red here, and at first view it looks a little bit chaotic, and this is why I put the black and white circle. So you can see here there's a clear example where there is a clear angle here. So you have the blue on one side and the green on one side, and then the red and cyan, or the red and magenta, I mean, on the other side. And the idea is to always follow these kind of pattern when you're going to put your color. If you have the blue on one side, you want the red on the other side. But it's not just the side of the portrait, it's actually the side of the contrast in the values. And that's the reason why I have a black circle with white around it and a white circle with black around it. And I want you to see the difference here. So on this one, the middle circle here, the round circle, is white and this is black, and you can see that it's changing. Here we have the blue, here we have the red, and they switch places. So basically what it means is if you have a contrast of a dark space or a very low value, basically black being very low, white being very high, what you want to do is to make sure that you always follow that pattern. So to give you an example here, if I were to put the blue on this side here, then it's at the left of the darkest value, or the black in this case. So if I were to go here, that blue will not go here. That blue would go right here. To follow the patterns, see, it's at the left of the black and it's at the left of the black. Same thing with the other colors. If I were to put the purple here, the purple doesn't go here. It could go here though, right? Because this is at the right of the black. But if I were to put it on the circle here, it would go inside here. So that's all you need to remember. Once you know that, then you're able to apply those colors, and I'm going to show you an example right away. For this example, I'm going to pick any of the colors. I'm going to start with the blue here and create a new layer, and what I'll do is I'm going to zoom in, and I'm going to decide that my blue is going to go on the left side of what is the darkest value here, which is the hair. So I'm going to go ahead and kind of paint a little bit of blue in this corner. Now the idea when you do it manually is to not put too much. You don't want to have outlines of colors. That's not the idea. You want a little touch here and there to just get that little accent of color. So now that I have that here, I could add maybe a little bit more here, maybe a little bit more here. And that's pretty good already for a start. The red is the opposite of the actual cyan that I just choose here. So what I'll do here is I'm going to add a little bit of red on the other side right here.
Incredible!
I could check the letters, for example, and kind of do the same thing. Remember the pattern. On the left, I want the blue. And on the right, I want the red. Now this is looking already great for me. It's a little bit of a touch of color, which is awesome. I could decide to add another pair if I wanted to, or just one of those colors. Sometimes adding just an accent could be super cool. So in this case, what I'm going to do is I'm going to pick up the green. And what I'll do here is, at this point, I'm not following any pattern. I'm just thinking something like a little bit more artistic. I want to add a touch of color, basically. And that's it.
Yay!
And so in a nutshell, you don't want to do more than this. At this point, you just want to have some fun, adding some colors and see what it looks like. I'm going to show you 3 examples of previous illustration that I did. So I did this one quite recently, and as you can see, what I did here is I played with the magenta and the blue here. And at the bottom, I added a little bit of yellow and a touch of blue here. I really like this blue. It's usually a color that you don't see much in the chromatic aberration effect, but when you add just a little bit, it really looks cool. Then we have this one here. Once again, I didn't want to add too much here. I added a little bit of red on the side, blue on the other side. As you can see here, I did a little bit of blue here because once again, I'm following the pattern that it's supposed to be at the right of the darkest value. The idea is to have a touch of it. You don't want to have outlines. Once again, what you want to do is just add in a little bit of touch in here and there. People are supposed to see it, but at the same time, it's not supposed to be the first thing that they see. Last example here is this one. As you can see, I added just a little bit of touch here and here and a little bit there and there. And you'll see this is the kind of effect that I love to add on most of my illustrations. So if you follow me on Instagram, I'll put a link below, you'll see that kind of effect on most of my paintings. Alright, now I want to show you how to do the same effect but with filters both in Photoshop and Procreate. So I'm going to start with the same illustration that I have here. One thing that is super important, you have to make sure that your illustration is on only one layer. If you have multiple layers, you have to merge them together. Once you have your illustration on one layer, then it's super easy. So as you can see, I already have one layer for my illustration. What I'm going to do is I'm going to copy it twice. Doing Command J will make a copy of that layer. And then I'm going to close the first one, select the second one right here, and I'm going to go on the layer panel, click the effects right here and choose blending options. Now in the blending option panel, what you're going to have here is a little place that says advanced blending, and you have the RGB right here. What you want to do is to select only one. So I'm going to select the R for now. I'm going to press OK. And from there, what I'm going to do is do Command T to transform the image. And I'm going to press on Alt or Option to drag this little, it's like an little X, but basically what it does here is this is going to tell me where it's going to start the transformation. I'm going to put it in the middle of her face, but you want to put it in any places that you want the focal point, basically. And then what you want to do is super simple. You want to click on the corner, hold Alt or Option and drag. And as you can see, it's going to create automatically that amazing chromatic aberration. But once you're happy, just press enter and voila, super easy trick to create chromatic aberration with a few clicks of a button. All right, so that was with Photoshop. Now let me show you what you can do with Procreate. I'm gonna go pick up my iPad. There. All right, when it comes to Procreate, it's actually even easier. There's actually a dedicated filter for it. All you have to do is to go to the adjustment tab right here at the top, and then you want to choose chromatic aberration. And then it's as easy as simply dragging your finger from left to right to add the chromatic aberration. And you want to move that little circle here, right here, towards where you want it to kind of have the focal point. And then you just want to drag it up. You have a few options at the bottom, displace or perspective, but yeah, basically that's as easy as that. And just like that, you're going to be able to have amazing chromatic aberration at a click of a button. Now this effect is one of my favorite, but it's obviously useless if you don't have an illustration to start with. So if you want to learn my workflow on how to create quick studies so you can have an illustration to play with for this effect, then you can click on this video right here where I'll show you my step-by-step process on how to create quick studies. I'll see you in there. And it would register the different colors, cyan, magenta, blue, yellow, red, and did I say blue?